Okay, I'll just copy it. Just
Hi, very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all to this very special 127th session of Leadership Talk. I welcome all our key speakers, Manjeet Johar ma'am, Ruchika Rana ma'am. I believe Kusum Best ma'am and Johan sir are yet to join. And welcome Jaswinder sir. Mr. Vinayak Sharma would also be joining in next moment. And I was just the part of invisible part of the conversation between Jaswinder sir and Manjeet ma'am. And it was a very surprising question to me, Manjeet ma'am, जब आपने पूछा जसविंदर सर से कि are you familiar with Chandigarh? और उससे ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग जवाब जसविंदर सर का था. सर का जवाब दो पार्ट्स में था. पहला पार्ट था मैम आई एम सरदार. Second,
that was just to break the ice, Rachel.
Yes, yes.
Just to be on the lighter side.
yeah, I know. No, I'm sure that you are from you are from Chandigarh, but we are from Delhi. We believe there is no Sardar in India. In fact, in the world, who is not familiar with Chandigarh? This is our perception. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is our perception from Delhi.
I
But
think how frequently does he visit Chandigarh so that he can meet me next time whenever he's here?
Great. And I think we should involve Ruchika ma'am into this conversation. Ma'am
Yes,
is also from a place very close to Chandigarh, that is
I'm
Dehradun.
from Dehradun.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Dehradun is a beautiful place. Both these places, ma'am. I'll just one last thing, then you can start, Rajuji. Ma'am, whenever I go to Dehradun, I go quite often. I work with around 7-8 schools there. So I keep telling my wife कि जब retire होंगे ना तो वहाँ जाएंगे. सारे फौजी
Yeah.
रिटायर होते हैं या तो जाते चंडीगढ़ या देहरादून. हम फौजी नहीं है लेकिन हम जाएंगे वहीं पे रहने.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place and
Beautiful
you
place.
should definitely visit it.
Yes.
So,
great.
Chalo, let's start. Yeah.
Thank you, Jaswinder sir. For setting the tone for the session, and thank you, Manjeet ma'am and Ruchika ma'am. And as you have received the flow for the session, we'll begin the session with the formal introduction of our key speakers. And then I'll come back to you for your opening remarks and for your main talk after that. And in the end, we have already received many questions. I would be presenting these questions to you. So now, first thing, I'll just share my screen and formally begin the session with the introduction of our speakers. So allow me to share my screen. So as you know that these sessions are being organized by India International Education Council and School Lalaji Solutions. India International Education Council is a not-for-profit organization which is working in the field of education. It has collaborators from 12 countries. India International Education Council aims to create a better world through education. Building quality centers for elementary education approachable for all kids is another aim of India International Education Council. Finding best educational practices across the globe and find ways to implement those in Indian institutions. It is also creating more awareness on hygiene and learning disabilities. It publishes a magazine called World Education Review and many other educational reports. It aims to build 100 chapters in different cities by 2022. It will soon open its membership for institutions and individuals. It also is training for leaders, teachers, students, and parents. As we said, so far we have conducted 126 sessions. We have received 14,467 registrations, 13,249 questions. We have received participation from 5 countries: India, USA, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Nepal. From India, we have received participation from 22 states and 94 cities. We aim to organize 200 sessions. With this, we would be reaching out to 100,000 educators, 20,000 institutions, and 1,000 plus eminent speakers like today's speakers would be joining us to share their personal thoughts. Now, I would request you all please join me in welcoming our key speakers for this session. Our first key speaker, very senior education leader, Manjeet Johar ma'am. Manjeet ji, former principal at Kundan International School, Chandigarh. She has spent 34 years in the field of education and have conducted various teacher training programs on a national level. She received commendation and awards from Chandigarh administration recognizing the commendable zeal and dedication in the field of education. She has worked with many prestigious schools apart from Kundan International School like Vivek High School, Chandigarh and YPS Mohali. He's also written 37 computer books on a national level for school children. We welcome you, Manjeet ma'am. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for
I'll
the
be coming back to you. I'll be coming back to you. Our next key speaker, Ruchika Rana ji. Ruchika ma'am is principal with Fly Fort Public School, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. She's a passionate educationist with decades of experience in education. She's also the director with Little Pro, which is a premier school shaping adroit kids, which is an initiative of Fly Fort Public School. You know, as an institution, they believe that they discover the strength and talents of children and guide them in their aspiration for excellence. Excellence here means not only excellence in academics, but also an excellent person with human virtue. You know, Ruchika ma'am believes and they have firm faith in their relentless hard work. They're working not only for the present generation, but also for the future generations. They are sure that they will hand over the legacy of values, philosophy, and culture to the next prodigies. We welcome you, Ruchika ma'am. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to
Thank
have
you
you.
so much. And sir, it's Philfort Public School. It's Philfort.
Philfort.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining. Our next key speaker, Kusum Bishji. Kusum ma'am is principal with RD Vidya Mandir, Mumbai, Maharashtra. She's an experienced director with a demonstrated history of working in the primary and secondary education industry. She is skilled in operation management, government, and team building. A strong professional with decades of experience, she has been awarded and recognized for her contribution to the field of education. So I believe Kusum ma'am is here to join us. And our next key speaker, Johan Kawati. Johan sir is principal with Vidya Bhavan Public School, Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. He's a senior education leader. Of experience, he has worked with many prestigious schools. He has been awarded and recognized for his contribution to the field of education. Johan sir, I believe, is also yet to join. And our next speaker, Jaswinder Singh ji. Jaswinder ji is the founder and CEO of Wordsworth ELT. He's a very senior edtech leader. He has an experience of 30 years in the field of education and technology, and has also served as a consultant to UNESCO and education. Wordsworth English Lab is designed for India and is a highly research initiative of ACT UNIF Group. It is a trusted education company with 2 decades of service in technology, education, and training. Its expertise in technology, multimedia, and content development has been instrumental in presenting a world-class language lab solution for academia in India. In a short span of time, Wordsworth English Language Lab has managed considerable recognition across the country for its unique content and methodology. Over 3,000 installations in institutions across the country stand testimony of the quality in product, implementation, training, and the continual service provided by ACT UNIF and its committed network of leaders. We welcome you, Jaswinder sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Rajul. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Our last key speaker for this very special session, Vinayak Sharma ji. Vinayak is National Head of Business and Strategy with Torrens. He's an MBA double major in Finance and Marketing from IIMA. He dropped out after clearing a first group of CA final to start his own brand of tea, which sells successfully in rural West Bengal and opened up subsequent exports to European countries. He's having a decade of experience in the FMCG sector, branding and supply chain, along with the handling international trade and logistics. Since 2017, involved in bringing an upliftment in the field of music education provided to schools across India through Torrens, which is a US-based organization known globally to provide the best in music education through its online and offline platform. So we welcome you, Vinayak. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Rajulji.
So with this, we'll begin. Request our key speakers. Opening remark. And I must recognize the presence of Sunita Rawat ma'am. Welcome, Sunita ma'am. Sunita ma'am from Dehradun. Yes, Manjeet ma'am, if you can have your opening remark.
Yeah. A very good afternoon to this team gathering. I would like to thank India International Education Council and School Allergy Solution for giving me an opportunity to share my views on NEP. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, as rightly said by Nelson Mandela. I said, I think this is also the tagline in your on your website, right? India International Education. I picked it up from there. After a very tumultuous 2020-21, we have stepped into the new academic year with the hope and prayers that everything is going to be normal after the pandemic, and education academics can be revived. Knowledge is a deep-seated treasure, and education helps in its manifestation as the perfection which is already within an individual. NEP 2020 aims at making India a global knowledge superpower, and it is a very progressive and a revolutionary document. Education is one of the key factors which needs to be capitalized, and that needs to capitalize on modern technology. The world is undergoing rapid changes in the technology landscape with various technological advances such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, design thinking, and many other. I can go on and on and on. The unskilled jobs worldwide will be taken over by machines gradually, while the need for a skilled workforce will be left to out, will be there for the sciences, social sciences, humanities. All this section will be increasingly in great demand. So I can go on and on, but due to time constraint, now I'll just discuss the details later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Majid ma'am. And we all are very excited to hear your ideas. I'm told that Johan sir would be joining in the next 5 minutes. And I just would like to share that after reading his biography, A Long Walk to Freedom, of Nelson Mandela, I
Yes.
just learned that how an ordinary person like Nelson Mandela ji,
Yes.
with that strong willpower and conviction, he became so great. And I truly and I would say that I understood the power of education after reading his biography. How an educated man certainly can empower himself and his community. So
I was
big
going through
thanks
your
for
website, India International Education, and I read the tagline and I found it very catchy because I thought this is a very, very powerful statement. So that's why I thought I must mention the opening remark.
it
Thank
is
you,
it is
Rajat.
it is absolutely it is
Thank
a
you.
powerful and I see that Ruchika ma'am had just lost the connection, so she would be joining us back. I would request Jaswinder sir if we can have your opening remark.
Yeah, thank you, Rajulji. So we're going to talk about NEP 2020, and I would first like to state that this is a very, very disruptive policy, a policy that we had never thought that something of this sort could be designed for the Indian market and at a massive scale. So my total discussion is going to be on how do we achieve the milestones which are set by the policy, and how would we do that using technology. That's one. Second is, we being an edtech company are into language teaching and language solutions. So I am also going to talk about what kind of changes are being brought in the way education is delivered, the kind of language used, and what should be done. How do we ensure that students, when they come out, they are ready for the coming world? So I'm going to be focusing more on edtech and in onto the language forum. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaswinder sir. I'll be coming back to you now. I would request Ruchika ma'am, if we can have your opening remark.
Definitely. Thank you so much for inviting me. So, my point will be that education is one of the greatest tools for achieving social justice and equality, I believe. And no child should be left because of any reason, because of any circumstances, be it birth or the backgrounds. So, I will be covering the early childhood care and education program in this today's, and also the vision and the principles of the NEP. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Ruchika ma'am. In the end, we'll also talk about Jaswinder sir. Jaswinder sir is pursuing a very passionate mission, to empower teachers. So he will be talking about that mission. But I believe, and he also talks about that, teachers from primary stage will get, more amount than teachers from other, genres. But I believe that this NEP has already achieved a mass awareness about the importance of those early years. And I'm sure that by the end, we finish our 200th session, government would make it a compulsory that, the primary teachers would be earning more than the other teachers. So it has already generated that, great awareness. So with this, I would request Vinayak, if we can have your opening remark.
Thank you, Rajulji, for handing over the mic to me. It's an honor and amazing experience to be in the presence of this August gathering. There is a lot to learn here. Uh, NEP 2020 has laid a lot of focus on music. So my core area being music, I would like to discuss about that and how what relevance it has to the current education policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinayak. You are bringing a different perspective to this session. The art education which has received a great attention this NP. So we would like to learn more from you of your perspective. So we come to the next part of the session, the main talk session. But before I begin the main talk session, I come to our speakers. I would like to share the learnings which we have had during our last 126 sessions. During our last 126 sessions, almost every participant who joined shared that this is a wonderful document. This document, National Education Policy, has a potential to place India at that coveted position of Vishwa Gyan Guru. Almost every participant shared that this is at one side this document is so ambitious, but this is going to be very difficult to execute. So many people also share that teachers training is going to be a key concern area. Many people have cited the example of CCE, and they said that because of the poor training and poor execution that got failed, many educators who participated shared their assessment that finance is going to be a biggest concern area. Many believe that teachers training, yes, it's a great concern area, but the bigger concern area is lack of intent among teachers to get trained. Many people believe that good schools in urban areas already implementing these policies, ideas. Biggest challenge would be for the government school, budget schools, and the rural schools. So I would request all our speakers. We have, I would say, collectively 150 years of experience on the platform today. So I would request all our speakers that while sharing your perspective and remarks, if you can also suggest, some idea, some thought, or some best practice which you have been doing in your school, so that we can all learn from each other, and that can become more engaging interaction. So with this, I would request our first key speaker, Manjeet Johar ma'am. Manjeet ma'am, if we can have your ideas in detail.
Okay. Thank you, my co-panelists and all the eminent speakers who have shared their views on NEP earlier in all these sessions. And NEP is a revolutionary initiative with the potential of changing the shape of education in India. Emphasis is placed on learning through technology, holistic education, and making the students a global citizen. As we know, that the only way the schools will be successful in the long run is by providing quality education and integrating technology with education. We need to introduce creative teaching methodologies and activity based teaching and think of innovative techniques for improving the online classes and activities. Success mantra is think out of the box. If you can think out of the box and be creative and mold students to be lifelong learners by developing their skills as academic achievers, progressive thinkers, effective communicators, and empowered citizens, then you have nurtured the students as what you want them to be. NEP has also emphasized the integration of technology in all levels of learning. We need to supplement classroom teaching with multimedia teaching as it has a positive impact in teaching of complex concepts across all the classes. Introduce computer and modern educational tools, awareness amongst all the students, staff, and parents. Teaching with the help of technology helps the slow learners and dyslexic children, as visuals have an everlasting impact on the child's mind. India is a global leader in information and communication technology. The Digital India campaign is helping to transform the entire nation into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. While education will play a critical role in this transformation, technology itself will play an important role in the improvement of educational processes and outcomes so that the percolation of information happens at the earliest. With the opportunities unlocked in the classroom by augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, machine learning, smart boards, one can only imagine the limitless potential for improving education that these technologies bring. Applications based on AI are already visible in healthcare diagnostics, transportation, public safety, service robots, education and entertainment. Concerted curricular and pedagogical initiatives, including the introduction of contemporary subjects like artificial intelligence and design thinking by CBSC, will develop important skills in students at all levels and align with the demands of the next generation and prepare the students for higher education in top global universities. AI refers, I'll just give you a brief introduction, just a two-liner definition about AI. It refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think like humans, mimic their actions, and are capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. Simplest example of AI is Alexa, which is almost used in every house nowadays. On the other hand, design thinking is a non-linear, iterative process that teams use to understand users, challenge their assumptions, redefine problems, and create innovative solutions to prototype and test. Even CBSE has introduced artificial intelligence from class 6 to 12 and design thinking for classes 6 to 8. Now, I'll just give you some very simple example of design thinking, which we tried for class 8 students. We just divided the entire class into groups and we gave them problems in October, November. We asked them like, what after corona? We asked the group, one group to ideate, and then five, we made groups of 5 students each. What after corona? So they used to ideate, then define the one child define the problem, ideate the problem, prototype. So this is all they used to do, research and then come back and then make presentations. And then this way you can give simple problems like how can you avoid noise pollution, say no to plastic, maintain cleanliness in school. So all these problems, so the news this will make the young minds adapt their problem solving, critical thinking, decision making, and inculcate the habit of research. So that is what we want to build the students, our next generation, so that they can just do critical thinking and collaborative thinking. Tweak the question. We will just give them a question, a problem, so then they can ideate the problem. So that is why even CBSE is laying stress on design thinking. So it is nothing but just give them a very simple problem, a simple idea, and then they can just go on and on. We all will agree that all students are naturally creative and that every classroom should be filled with creativity, joy, and quest for knowledge. We want to see teachers unleash the creative potential of every child so that there can be designers, artists, doctors, engineers in future. There's so much power in problem solving, experiential learning, which CBSE is laying stress on experiential learning, and even the new NEP policy also lays stress on experiential learning. They want to drift away from the rote learning and move towards the creativity side. So we want to inculcate the creativity of the children and taking things from questions to ideas to authentic products that you can launch to the world maybe later on. So all aspects of curriculum and pedagogy will be reoriented and revamped to attain these critical goals. A dedicated unit for this purpose of creating digital infrastructure, digital content, and capacity building will be set up. An autonomous body, the NETF, that is National Educational Technology Forum, will be created to provide a platform for the free exchange of ideas on the use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, administration, and so on, both for school and higher education. The thrust of technological interventions will be for the purposes of improving teaching, learning, and evaluation processes, supporting teacher preparation and professional development, streamlining educational planning, management, and administration. A rich variety of educational softwares will be made available for students and teachers at all levels so that they can have access to that. And I want to add on that basically we also need to conduct workshops for the parents, because parents also need to be techno savvy. If they are techno savvy, and then only they can also push their students. So conducting workshops for the parents is also a very important factor. Nowadays, during this pandemic time, it is very easy to conduct online workshops for the parents, so to make them techno savvy. In fact, most of the parents, once you're having these classes using Google Meet or Zoom, so they all are also basically, you are having a PTM every day, because the parents are monitoring what the teacher is teaching in class. Earlier it was that once a month or once a month you used to go and have a PTM every fourth Saturday. But now the parents are listening so the teachers have to be very careful and they have to plan the lesson well. And then teaching learning e-content will also continue to be developed by all states in all the regional languages. I think regarding the language part, Mr. Jaswinder Singh will be covering. So which is also, but sir, this is a very Herculean task, I must tell you, because developing in e-content in all the regional languages is a major challenge in itself, very big challenge. But I think the NCRT, CIET, CBSC, NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, and other institutions will also be pitching in. And then the content will be uploaded onto the technology-based educational platforms like Diksha, Swam, Prabha channel, and all, Swam platform. So now I will talk about the recent pandemic, which demanded switching overnight from the traditional methodology of teaching to alternative modes of quality online education. In this regard, NEP 2020 also recognizes the importance of leveraging basically, they also recognize the importance of advantages of technology. However, the benefits of online education cannot be leveraged unless the digital divide is eliminated, because there's a huge digital divide. So many, basically the rural areas, they do not even have a mobile phone. So how are they going to learn technology? First challenge is to teach them technology, to handle the phone, and then to go on to the class, and then to learn the content. So it's a very major challenge. It's not an easy task. It's easier said than done, but implementation is the main challenge. So the digital divide needs to be eliminated through concerted efforts. Then teachers require suitable training and development to be effective online educators. Aside from changes required in pedagogy, online assessments also require a different approach. Then there are numerous challenges in conducting online examinations, which is a very big challenge in almost all these schools. Because conducting MCQs, oral and all, it's very easy through Google Forms. But when it comes to the major exam of conducting a half yearly and the final exam, then it's a very big challenge, because you just can't have the quizzes and the basically the MCQ questions and all. You need to have a proper 3-hour paper. So that's a big challenge. And because the parents, they just want that the children should be promoted. So that is the challenge. There are numerous challenges in conducting online examinations. Then certain types of courses, subjects such as performing arts, science practicals, though there are O labs and all, but still, like, it is very difficult to conduct the science labs practicals. So that is what I feel, and even NEP specifies that. Then unless online education is blended with experiential and activity based learning, it will tend to become only a screen based education with limited focus on the social and psychomotor dimensions of learning. The emergence of digital technologies at all levels, from school to higher education, policy also recommends the following key initiatives. I'll just quickly go through it. They have pilot studies for online education, first, such as CIET, NIOS, IGNOU, etc. They will be identified to conduct a series of pilot studies first. And then the digital infrastructure, there's a need to invest in creation of public digital infrastructure in the education sector that can be used by multiple platforms. Then online teaching platform and tools, there are some e-learning platforms like Swayam Prabha, Diksha, will be extended to provide teachers with a structured and rich set of assistive tools for monitoring progress of learners. Then content creation, digital repository, and dissemination of knowledge, that is a very big challenge, because you have to have the right kind of content. The right kind of content is very important. So a digital repository of content, including creation of coursework, then learning games and simulations. And then once you develop the content in other languages, that is a very big challenge. So you have to have maybe fun-based learning activities for the children, and gamification of Indian art and culture in multiple languages will also be created. Then address the digital divide. That's a very important area. The existing mass media, such as television, radio, and community radio, will be extensively used for telecast and broadcast, and such educational programs will be there 24 by 7. Then virtual labs, existing e-learning platforms are Diksha, Swayam, Prabha, will also be leveraged for creating virtual labs so that children can have access to the practicals. Then training incentive for teachers will be done. Then online assessment and examinations, there have to be bodies which have to be created, and so that they can take care of the online assessments and examinations. We have to have a blended model of learning also, because it is very important to have face-to-face interaction. In-person learning is also very important. So there has to be a blended model of learning. Then laying down standards, we have to lay down standards. NETF and other appropriate bodies shall set up standards of content, technology, and pedagogy for online digital teaching and learning. Then creating a dedicated unit for building of world-class digital infrastructure, educational digital content and capacity is required, and will be created in the ministry to look after the e-education needs of both school and higher education. This center will therefore consider experts drawn from the field of administration, education, technology, e-governance, etc. Do I have the time, Rajul? Then I would just give like to give 7, 8 tips on how technology improves education. Do I
Yes,
have the
ma'am.
time?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but we would like to have those tips, ma'am. Why we would like to lose those tips? Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Please, please.
Some ways in which technology has made the academic industry better. Before that, I would just like to share a very small anecdote. Once, I mean, it was a couple of years back when they had just thought of starting the marking on through computers. If you remember that, like they used to evaluate the papers on through computers, right? The evaluation of answer scripts. So one place I'd visited, I'll not name that school. So there they had started as a pilot run for Sanskrit teachers. Can you imagine? I mean, they were trying to teach technology through Sanskrit. So we visited that lab. Our team of resource persons. We just visited, and one of the teachers, he was like, mouse. So he was just moving the mouse pointer. So I would like to share this anecdote. And he just came up with this thing, with this statement. He says, the moment I move the, कहते जैसे ही मैं माउस को हिलाता हूँ वो मेरा चूहा भाग जाता है, so that kind of a thing. So I just want to say, no offense, but basically, I mean, it is not all that easy. First you teach technology to those people and then you ask them how to evaluate the papers. So initially they were learning, those teachers were learning how to basically how to move the mouse. And then because obviously they were not familiar with technology, and then they had to learn to evaluate the papers. So it was a very time consuming task. So I just thought I'll share this anecdote with you. And now the tips on how technology improves education. Basically, you have digital simulations and models. So in traditional learning, it is very difficult for students to get a concept, but digital simulation and models can help students to not only better, but understand better and better discipline, because you have all those 3D models and all. For example, pumping of a heart, the skeleton system. So it's very easy. Rotation and revolution. You can understand these concepts better. Then you improved communication is also there. Communication gaps, the pronunciation of certain words. Like while I was just thinking of the introductory marks, so even I went to because every day is a new learning experience. The day you stop learning, you are finished. So I just went onto the net and I just asked. I asked for the pronunciation of tumultuous, because I wasn't clear that tumultuous. So how it is pronounced. So you had to basically. So it teaches you pronunciation also. So then advanced research can be done. Cloud storage has made research a lot easier for the students these days. Then effective assessments are there. The learning at one's own pace, you can enjoy with the learning at your own pace and time. And then fun learning also is there. Then online groups, collaboration projects and all, you can collaborate projects. Even with schools abroad, you can collaborate projects. And then open education is there. Then e-learning also has a vast presence in almost in every field. For example, I'll just share now integration of technology. Now, as they talk about integration of technology, you can ask, the English teacher can ask the class to design a poster in design a poster. So that is an assignment of English language. The art teacher will get the poster designed in his arts class, and then the child will go to the computer lab and then design the poster in MS Word or Corel Draw or Photoshop. And then so this is integration of technology with art and English. So similar way, you have so many other, you can have, there's so many monotonous and boring topics of history with the children don't like to study. So they can be given in the form of a presentation which the computer teacher can assess, and the children will also do research, and they can learn better by research. So there's so many things, and they're very powerful tools. Then diverse range of technological tools are also used by teachers to enhance learning and teaching situations and make learning more interesting. So these tools are very powerful. And like internet, Skype, Twitter, smart boards, blogs, podcasting, so many tools are there. So basically, I can go on and on in technology, but I think I need to give time to others. So thank you so much, Rajul, and thank you.
Thank you, Manjeet ma'am, for sharing your experience, your ideas in this much detail with all of you. You began with the success mantra. Then we have to think out of box. And many other educators have also called upon more innovative approaches. So we all agree with you that a lot of people believe that students in today's time don't come to teachers for information. Students have more far more bigger information source than teachers. Students come to teachers for the perspective. Many people have also shared that we have such a diverse diversity inside our classrooms. So teachers have no other option just to become they have to adopt for innovative approaches. You talked about the importance of design thinking, and you shared few examples how it can create an impact.
Yes.
You also talked about, and we all agree with you, that every student is naturally they are curious, and our conventional education setup, our education ecosystem is actually killing that curiosity. So
Yes.
teachers need to empower those students so that they can explore their ideas, their thoughts. And teachers certainly needs to empower themselves as well, so that they can recognize those I would say curious ways of doing things. You also talked about the importance of the institutions which are going to be established after this NEP implementation, like the National Technology Education Forum. Many other educators during the previous session have also emphasized upon the importance of such initiatives. And you also talked about the importance of more proactive parents engagement. A lot of people, and I'm sure other educators we have here would also agree that this is one such part which we have ignored so far. I visit so many schools every day, every month, and I've been visiting schools for last 14 16 years. I see that that parents engagement, this has been, I would say, a weakening. I would say gradually it is in the process. So you share that technology has given us as a platform and opportunity to more efficiently do this kind of communication. You also talked about the digital divide we have, and we all agree with you, ma'am. Many other experts have also shared that this pandemic has exposed how poor digital infrastructure we have in our country, and we need to find ways for them. And in the end, you shared 7 tips to use technology in a better way. Big thanks, and that is, I would say, very important, because we have technology, but no one actually taught us how to use technology. So I'm sure Jaswinder sir would have some more ideas on that. So thank you, Manjeet ma'am, for sharing your ideas. I'll be coming back to you with questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me an
Thank you,
opportunity.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I would request Ruchika ma'am. Ruchika ma'am, if we can have your ideas, your thoughts. Ruchika ma'am, you are on mute.
Yeah, just a second. I'll just. So, am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible, ma'am, and your screen is also visible.
Yeah, sir. So, I'm going to talk about the national education policy, but before this, I would like to slightly take you back. The first time the national education policy was formulated in the year 1968, and then in 1986, and then certain modifications was done in the policy in the year 1992. And the major development which took place was the Right to Compulsory and Free Education Act 2009. Since then, there has not been much of the what you call it as developments in the education policy. Therefore, we can very well say that this NEP 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century, which is aiming to address the many growing development imperatives of our country. And we all believe, actually, universally, high quality education, if it is provided, and it is going to be what you call it as it is going to develop not the talent and the resources of the country for the betterment of the individuals, not only the individuals, but the society, the country, and the whole world, in fact. And that is what the national policy education framework, it is emphasizing on the creative potential of each individuals. Like we say that the young population, India is going to have the largest young population over the next decade. So this is actually what level of opportunities we are going to provide students is going to depend it is going to tell the future of our country. And the best part it is not only focusing on the cognitive capacities, means it is not only the foundational literacy and numeracy, but it is also focusing on the social, ethical and emotional dispositions, because actually the present education system and what is actually needed, there is a lot of gap, and that gap can be bridged only and only when we have this major reforms in the education policy, and that is being brought by the national education policy through high quality education involved with equality and integrity, right from the early childhood care education to the higher education. So that it can be very well said that new education policy is going to envisage, just a second, and revamping of all the aspects of the education structure, including its regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with the aspirational goals by 21st century education, while building upon India's tradition and value system. So the basic principles of NEP, as we have already discussed, that the purpose and of the education system is to develop good human beings who are capable of rational thoughts and approaches. That is why the school's principals and the teachers, while framing up their curriculum and the pedagogies, they need to work upon these all segments, which is recognizing, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. Here, it is very important that the teachers and parents are sensitized about the overall development, to promote the holistic development in both academic as well as non-academic spheres, and according to the highest priority to achieve foundational literacy and numeracy by grade 3. Flexibility, that is, that the children must have the ability to select the subjects for themselves, and thereby they can choose their own paths in their life according to their interest and their talents. Then there is no hard separations between arts and science, between co-curricular activities and curricular activities, and between vocational and academics. So this is the best part. It's reviewing all the barriers. So multidisciplinary and holistic education, obviously for the overall development, emphasis on the conceptual understanding, right? It should not be a rote learning or the learning for just for exams. Then creative and critical thinking. So this is also like problem solving attitude and other sorts of, so ethics and human and constitutional values. Then we have promoting multilingualism and the power of language. So this in the teaching and the learning process, life skills, focus on regular formative assessments for early learning rather than having only summative exam. Extensive use of technology should be there so that no child is left behind because of any reasons. Respect for diversity and respect for local contest. We all need to understand that education is basically concurrent in nature. Full equity and inclusion. Teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process, overall development of the teachers and continuous development, and providing them a positive environment, and rootedness and pride in India. So while framing our curriculum and pedagogies, we need to keep in mind all these principles. Then the vision of the NEP. When we talk about the vision, it is like transforming India to a knowledge-based economy, and that could be done by providing a high-quality educational infrastructure, so that economy becomes a global knowledge superpower. A deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties and constitutional values, and deep-rooted pride to be an Indian, and not only by thoughts, but also in their skills, their talents, and by their deeds. And then we have next is the school structure. So initially we were having the present system is having 10 plus 2 structure, and then the new restructuring is 5 plus 3 plus 3 and 4. So the basic difference is initially in the present system of structure, we are not we are only focusing from grade 6, the grade 1, that is the age 6 year onwards. And the researchers have proved that 85% of the human development happens prior to age 6. So this is the part where CBSE is focusing for the overall well-being and development of a child right from the initial stage. So now we're going to have foundation, which will also include them class 1 and 2. Then we will be having the preparatory, middle, and the secondary section. So this will be the new structure of the education system. And then, as I was talking about the early childhood care and education, the foundation of learning. So the overall aim of this ECC is to attain optimal outcomes in the domains of physical and motor development, cognitive development, social, emotional, ethical development, cultural, artistic development, development of communication, early language literacy, and numeracy. See, it is all this is all possible because the structure which is being provided by the ECC is very, very flexible. It has activity based learning, it has this this including inquiry based learning comprising of everything, alphabets se leke puzzles and logical thinking, problem solving. And the best part is not only the academic part, but it is also focusing on the behavior, courtesy, ethics, personal and public cleanliness, teamwork, and cooperations. So along with this, also, like India is known for its rich heritage and varied culture, it is also going to include the heritage for which India is worldwide known, in fact, which will be involving art, stories, poetry, games, songs, and more, which will be suitably incorporated in this system. So, and the foundational literacy and numeracy. So, abilities to read, write, and perform basic operation. Presently, India is facing learning crisis because according to the government and the non-governmental surveys, it has been found that 5 crore students in India lack the foundation literacy and numeracy. So it's a big challenge in this NEP policy that we work out on this and overcome this one. So the ability to read, write, and perform basic operations will be the top this for the in the NEP. Then 3-month play-based school preparation module, because class 1 says the children are ready for the schools, but it has been found that many children who enter class 1s, they lack basic skills. So this preparation model is for 3 months preparation model, where children will be given all worksheets and other type of things to develop the basic that is required to be ready school. Then peer tutoring, as you were saying, that this we are also following in our school. The children, we have a classroom without walls in the school, and I personally see that LKG child is being taught by the UKG child, and under the supervision of the teacher, and they enjoy a lot. They are not only confined to their classrooms, but they know their other children also. They are sharing their views, they are being learned by. So this peer tutoring under the able guidance of the teacher is going to be, and it's a very joyful activity, I must tell you. Then enjoying an inspirational books, this we have been following in the whole school. We give them a book reading challenge, and children do participate into it. They have to read. Then we have created a library in the classroom, that if there is a class of 40 students, so 40 students, we're going to buy 40 different books. So that means once they read that book, they'll exchange it with the other child in the class. So we have a classroom library in that ways. And then in a year, the child is able to read 40 different books. So this is the, and then the last is the curriculum and the pedagogy. So learning should be experiential, because see, there is a lot of changes in the present employment and the ecosystem, if you talk about. So the most important thing for the children is not to learn, but the important thing is how to learn. And that is possible if we provide, because children should know that how they have to basically learn things. And it is possible because when we provide them that the learning should be through experiential, holistic learning, integrated learning, inquiry driven, discovery oriented, learner oriented, discussion based, it should be more of flexible. So this is how the children are going to, because we also have conferences in the school. We have certain topics on panchatantra, this panchatattva. We had a beautiful conference in the school where children shared their views. So this is how I think the children are going to love much better. So thank you.
Thank you, Ruchika ma'am, for sharing these powerful and strong ideas and your assessment. You began by highlighting the gaps we have, at different levels, and that needs to be bridged upon. You also talked about the key highlight of this policy is the flexibility it is offering to students, flexibility in terms of
Yeah.
choosing subjects, and that is going to create an impact. And we all agree with you at that part, ma'am. You also talked about that this policy, encourages and gives us no hard separation between arts and science streams and curriculum and co-curricular activities. You also shared your assessment that, according to you, this policy has a potential to take us away from that rote learning-based education system.
Yeah, which
Many
is
other, absolutely,
Yes,
many other educators have also shared similar views in the previous sessions. You also talked about that this policy is, proposing establishment of high-quality infrastructure, educational infrastructure, in order to make India a truly global superpower in terms of knowledge. You also talked about the importance of foundation literacy and numeracy, which has received great attention in this policy as well. And in the end, you also talked about the importance of peer tutoring, and you also shared a lot of examples in that way. So thank you, Ruchika ma'am, for sharing these powerful ideas. I'll be coming back to you with questions. Thank you, ma'am.
thank
Now
you.
I would request Jaswinder sir, sir, if we can have your ideas, your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Rajulji, and good evening. No, we've just 8 minutes to a good evening, so let me again say good afternoon. I'm going to touch upon points which already Manjeet ma'am has touched upon. I'm going to add up a little thing, and I'm also going to talk about something which Mrs. Rana talked about. See, being from the education and technology field, and ma'am, you did talk about creating content in different languages. Let me have this as an informal discussion. Than that, the earlier company that I was associated with was known as DesignMate. So DesignMate, I was the founder director of that company. I resigned 15 years back to create Wordsworth. So at DesignMate, what we had done is we had created the 3D content for math and science in almost 7 or 8 Indian languages and 10 other foreign languages. It is possible if the intent is there and things are there. And I am very sure now that company has been taken over by Reliance. So I'm sure they are coming up with something which will be available on a network for education for schools and all that. Technology can do what not. Okay, there is no end to what technology can do.
Yes, I
So
agree.
so my first point here is that we always talk about teachers. So what we need to do is we talk about teachers, we not talk about teacher training, but the first and the foremost training that the teachers should be given should be on the use of technology. We don't want teachers to go and do coding or design.
No.
They should be able to locate and filter information from the huge repository which is there on the internet. So first of all, we need to make them digitally literate, and
Yes.
the only training that we need to give them is go look and find what you want, filter to the level that you want, because you ask for X, you get 10X. How do you filter that? So if our teachers are able to do that, and if that training is given, I think we will be creating teachers who will learn on their own. We are talking that we should teach our students what to learn, how to learn, when to learn, but let's give that to teachers first, because teachers should be able to learn on their own how long are you going to teach them? There are 14 lakh teachers in India. How do you teach them? Because things are going to change every year. Let me be very honest. Okay, let's understand most teachers are ladies. Okay, most. It is not that it is. So excuse me, my male friends, but let's take it up that most teachers are ladies, right? Look at the teachers who taught us. For them, the curriculum used to change every decade. 10 साल के बाद curriculum change. And look at today's teacher. The curriculum changes every year. Same teacher, same 24 hours, same husband, same in-laws, same family, same ghar ka chula. How do you expect the same teacher to learn such a lot in such a less time? So what we need to do is to equip them with the right kind of technological tools, nothing else. That's one. Second thing is, we are talking about students. We are saying students should become research-based learners. How do we do that? We are telling them what to learn. No, tell them this is what I want. Get me the way you want. So let me give example of flipped classrooms. A lot of people have not understood what a flipped classroom is. It is nothing. Instead of telling you them that I am going to teach this today, tell them I'm going to teach this tomorrow. Nothing else. And tell them that tomorrow I'm going to take up this topic. Get me 10 lines on this topic. Okay, say let's talk about global warming, and you say I want you to get me 10 lines each on global warming, and mind well that each and every student should have a different set of lines. What will the students do? Go home, dash home, go sit on Google and write global warming. Unfortunately, they will not get 10 lines. They will get 10,000 lines. That is where the challenge lies. And that's what they do, research, little research, and then they filter it to their level and bring it. Then what we say, okay, in the classroom, now come and present your 10 lines. So presentation skills, 1, communication skills, 2, confidence, 3, and peer group learning. Mrs. Rana, you talked about peer teach peer, right? This is it. You discuss. And when they are discussing, they are not studying. They are having a good time. And they start using their brains, which are rusting, because we do not question ourselves. We do not question. Somebody says, then there's a debate, or when there's a collaborative learning, you question that guy. And that is how the proper interest comes in. Students will never be learning. They'll be enjoying. So this is what we do. We need not have big time tools. The browser and the internet and a tablet is more than enough. So this is something which I say that let us train our teachers on how to use technology. Manjeet ma'am, you have been a technology person. Now working as a principal must have been very easy, because you know what to get, when to get, and how fast to get.
Yes, sir.
I have seen most schools, I'll be very honest, most schools, you know who rules the school? The IT teacher. Her teacher, her principal, because yaar mujhe de de, because that guy doesn't give anything. So your dependency on people, show it when it goes down, you can rule and decide what you want to do. And that's what I say teachers should be brought in. And that's where we need technology. I propose to the government of India, create a network, an internet only for education purpose. Let it be observed. Let it be, filtered. Let it not go to the XYZs of the internet. Let it only go search what the kids want. And let it be free, and let it reach each and every corner of the country. So the problem of a digital divide is taken care of. Go and gift each person who is age of 3 or 4, give them a tablet. How much does a tablet cost? 2,000 rupees. If you don't put the duty. Instead of spending such a lot of money on subsidizing paper and working on Greenpeace and this and that, give that money. Let paper not be cut. Let trees not be cut. Let that reach. So the problem of a digital divide will be taken care of. There's such a lot of content ready in our country that if used properly, it will serve the purpose. So that's what I say. Railways has got its own internet network. It's known as Railtel. Why can't education department have?
Yes.
No big deal. All you need to do is get all the